understanding of the world that started around 2006. It goes to about 2009. People ask me when I started dating after my divorce, they're like, have you seen this movie? Did you hear this song? Did you do this thing? Like, what are you talking about?
I was sleeping.
I have no idea what you're talking about. You just have no time to consume anything.
Well, so this is interesting because I saw that and I was just surprised at how many dudes don't have families. That I'm going to be 35 in a week. I don't got any kids. So we have the story from CBS. They say, new data is confirming a baby boom that some doctors expected was actually a baby bust. So that sounds like good news. Health departments in more than 24 states provided records to CBS News showing a 7% drop, in births in December, 9 months after the first lockdowns began. Researchers say it continues a much bigger plunge in fertility in recent decades. The number of babies the average woman in the U.S. is expected to deliver has dropped from nearly 4 in the 1950s to less than 2 today. The drop could present an entirely different risk to society than one that was first warned about decades ago, when an apocalyptic fear gripped America in the 60s and 70s. The stakes in this battle are far greater than any other we've ever fought, Walter Cronkite said in a 1970 CBS News broadcast. The experts we interviewed told us population was the fundamental crisis. As the world stampeded towards 10 billion people, many researchers back then predicted that overpopulation would ruin humanity. Biologist Paul Ehrlich once explained the threat as the population bomb, saying, quote, sometime in the next 15 years, the end will come. And by the end, I mean an utter breakdown of the capacity of the planet to support humanity. Today, however, a very different note is struck by researchers like University of Southern California professor Dowell Myers, who studies demographic trends. Quote, the trouble is we overshot and we dropped it down too much now, Myers told CBS this morning.
Whoa. How did they drop it down?
That's an interesting question.
What policies did they enact? Anti-natalist policies.
I mean,
it's called feminism. Hello, by the way.
No, I mean, look. That's a conspiracy theory. There is no push. There is no push between celebrities and prominent talk shows to tell women to abort their babies
or go for your career. Or you don't need that man. By the time you're 35, they'll be fine. You'll find a guy then. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, seems like they're complaining about it now.
Oopsie
Myers
days.
said of the decline, this is a crisis. We need to have enough working age people to carry the load of these seniors who deserve their retirement. They deserve all their entitlements, and they're going to live out another 30 years. Nobody in the history of the globe has had so many older people to deal with.
I would be interested to see what other research that guy works on. I would bet $1 million that either he or his friends are also pro-open borders and interested in bringing in all kinds of immigrant labor as well.
Because of the declining population.
Yes, because of the declining population.
So you're saying have babies so that they can become slaves to the older generation?
Yes, exactly right. That's exactly right.
Now you're tracking.
To pay for the debts that have been promised to the baby boomers. That's exactly right.
Ian,
I'm not into it.
Do you have parents?
Yeah.
When they're sick, will you help them?
Yeah.
So you're a slave to the older people?
I'm a slave to the system.
You're a slave to these elderly folks? No, come on. All these millennials who don't have kids, it is going to be brutal for them when they're, sitting there in their 70s and there's no one to take care of them. Who's going to take care of them? A robot? The government's going to hire someone to do it? Maybe.
I used to call this the crazy Aunt Margaret phenomenon. Okay. The crazy Aunt Margaret phenomenon is going to be the end of feminism. And it's going to happen in about 10 to 15 years. When all these women in their 20s and 30s who have heard that you go girl, get your career, forget about your man, all this stuff. But when they get to be 45 and 50 and they're sitting around and they're like, wait, what did I do? Why did I do that? We're going to have a nation of crazy Aunt Margarets. And then the women behind them will observe and be like, yo, I ain't going to be like crazy Aunt Margaret.
And you know what the guys are going to do at 45 and 50? They're going to be riding around in their red convertible with their high-paying job and tons of disposable income. And they're going to be like, hey, young 30-year-old woman, want to cruise up to that infinity pool at the the penthouse suite? I got all the money. And he makes it rain. And then the younger women are going to be like, this is going to be great. But like you mentioned, they're going to see the crazy Aunt Margarets. Then they're going to see these more powerful, high-status, successful men. And a lot of women are going to be like, this 50-year-old guy. I mean, you look at movie stars. Like Leonardo DiCaprio, for instance. He's always dating these young women. Why would Leo date a 50-year-old woman? He's going to date these young women. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying that's what they do.
The burgeoning crypto class of men. Come on, let's face it. It's mostly men who dabbled in crypto in 2011 and 12. Maybe bought 1,000 of them at $80, whatever. Those are the guys that are going to be running harems in 15 years. Because eventually, all the women between the ages of 18 and 50 are going to be competing for like the same group of men. It's disaster is coming in this perspective. Disaster.
I used to hear these numbers like overpopulation. I mean, I was brainwashed with that growing up. I thought for sure we're overpopulated. There's no rush to have 4 kids anymore.
It was in the same article, the same Time magazine that had the Great Freeze, the new Ice Age articles in it. Yeah.
But now I'm thinking, if you have a kid that you can teach, that might be the kid that solves the problem and can reorganize Earth to host 80 billion people easily.
Did your parents think that you would be having these conversations on a show about like computer code and the Federal Reserve? If they didn't have a kid who was Ian Crossland, the conversation wouldn't happen on the show.
That's a good point. If you raise your kids right, they can be the savior. It's not incentive to have. Well, I don't know. Maybe it is an incentive to have a kid.
You know, sometimes your kids turn out to be, I don't know, crackheads. It's not always
possible.
so. You know.
Sometimes crackheads are cool.
I'm trying to think back to that statement that this guy made in an article, which is very disturbing. What was it? We were too successful.
Mm-hmm.
We did it like the efforts that we
too far.
Yeah, we went too far.
We went too far in disincentivizing fertility. That's a terrifying statement,
Super
actually.
villain.
What did they do? What are the different things that they do? Like feminism, abortion, the desocialization of the family, the deconstruction of the family unit, Black Lives Matter, deconstructing the family union or family unit, etc.
You know what's really funny? There was a poll.
No fault divorce.
There was a poll that was posted by Matthew Iglesias we brought up, I think, last week.
I was going to mention him actually in this.
What he says this, he's like, I'm going to break the entire discourse, and it was married men. Working married men and their opinion on who should, what, 2 parents versus 1 parent versus childcare. And what it found was that everybody has a bias for exactly what they're doing. So that means if a woman is working, she thinks women should be working and childcare should take care of the kid.
Of course. If
the man is working and he's married and the wife is watching the kids, the man thinks the husband should work. The wife thinks the mother should raise the kids. And that's why they chose to do it. Right?
Duh.
So this is what's really interesting. Because whenever I have these conversations, I've seen a lot. I've not heard from women who are mothers about writing articles about why women shouldn't be in the workplace or why they would be happier with kids. And the reason is they're not. So it's an interesting predicament. For the women who like being stay-at-home mothers, they don't have the career status and power to write these articles unless someone opens the door for them. Whereas the prominent journalist class or activist feminist class, they're the ones writing for all these blogs. So the only thing you're going to hear is their perspective.
Jessica Valenti.
Yes. Right. She was the lady
worst.
who wrote that article where she was like, catcalling is offensive. And then a year later, she's like, I'm sad no one catcalls me.
Uh-huh.
So
how it started, how's it going?
Right. Here's the funny thing. This is the one subject that really triggers people. I love mentioning this because invariably they're going to like clip this and make videos about it, and they're going to say insult and all that other dumb stuff. I don't care, dude. I'm successful. I'm having a good time, and we got to talk about this. The question is, according to Gallup, so it was like, do you think women should be working or whatever? And 56% of women said they would rather have a career than be a stay-at-home mom. But that means 44% of women told Gallup, despite everything you might hear in the press, they would rather be stay-at-home moms. That's close to 50-50. And I think those women who have careers and all that, I'm stoked. More power to you. That's awesome. I'm glad you found happiness. But that also means there's a lot of women who don't want to do that. And those are the ones I think aren't being represented properly in the media because they're not working. You know what I mean? They're not in these careers, in these jobs.
They shouldn't pull women. They should pull their children. What do you think? Would you rather your mom be at work all day or at home taking care of you?
Would you rather your dad be at home, playing ball and going to the park with the dog or at work? Right?
If you had to choose, one of your parents has to go to work.
It's gotta be dad.
Oh, my mom.
Why do you think the kid's gonna say
they're gonna pick mom?
Why do you think so?
Because mom caretakes. Mom takes care. Mom makes the peanut butter and
I
jelly.
disagree.
I wanted my mom out of the house because she
I
was the
would
slave driver.
When you were 7?
Yeah, she was the mean one.
Well,
She was
listen,
the lawyer,
I
and my dad was the
explained-
fun.
Yeah.
Well, she's a lawyer.
No,
I think-
she was
I
like
think
the
you're-
lawyer of the house.
I think what you're missing is that if mom is the caretaker, then the kid is used to mom being there and he's feeling bad. He doesn't see dad enough. So when asked, he'll say, I want to see dad more. Get it? He sees mom all the time. And you may be right about the mom taking care of the kid, but it's also more proximity mom means more stern attitude from mom as well, right?
Look,
Yeah.
kids, we're going to take one of your parents away. Which one do you want it to be?
You're right, because my mom was stern, but probably only because she was around all the time.
Yeah.
She had to be.
We're gonna go back in time. We're gonna pull up this next article.
Oh, I love this
because I'm willing to trigger the internet once again. So this is a story I covered from the New York Post. Women are struggling to find men who make as much money as they do.
Yep.
And I gave a very simple hypothesis. And people did not like it because it was an offensive hypothesis. I don't care. The hypothesis goes as such. If there is a 30-year-old woman who's working a job and she makes $75K a year, and there is a 30-year-old man who works a similar job and makes $75K a year, the woman looks at the guy and says, that's my peer, that's who I want to be with, or someone who makes more money. But that guy who's 30, making $75K a year, is not looking at a 30-year-old woman. He's looking at a 22-year-old woman. OkCupid data showed us this, that no matter what age the guy was,
Rude.
he would message 22-year-old women. Yeah,
Guilty as charged.
And I got to
Of
admit,
course. Hello. Except for me, the number is
No,
24.
My age range is like 21 to 45.
I'm not a fan. That's not for me.
Of 24-year-old girls?
I'm not. I mean, the idea of like, I guess, hooking up with a 22-year-old, sure, I get. But, and when I'm talking about a legitimate relationship where you actually want to have a life companion, have a family,
You
I
need
think it's
someone a little
absurd to be a 35-year-old man reaching out to 22-year-olds.
Yeah, she'd have to be really evolved.
Yeah.
That's
why I said 22. No, 24.
but even 24,
26 is the best
I've had
age.
3 significant relationships in my life, and each one of them began with a girl who was 24.
claw
When I was
through our
24,
city unless we
when I
step
was
them
30,
down.
and
Well, so
when I was 40.
Let me read this. Let me read this. Okay, the New York Post
The
writes,
shadow of an old
the
colony
country
shooting
is facing a
directly into the
crisis
house
of
devil's
broke
lair.
dudes. According to new
High
research
sick.
from Cornell University, and it's left successful
We
successful
must
ladies
destroy
single
this
and
machine
disgruntled.
god and
I wonder if
send
they
their souls
misunderstood the
screaming
data.
to hell.
When they ask women, are you finding men your age who have money? I think the issue is it's not so much that the dudes are broke, but that even if a guy is 30 and he's making 25K less than the woman, he's not going to choose a woman who's 30.
No, the problem is the women are making too much money. Okay?
How's that a problem?
Because it's ruined evolution. It's ruined everything that is built into a woman's brain. A woman wants to marry a guy who's lateral or above. And if a woman makes so much money, it reduces her pool of available men. The fault of there not being enough men is the fact that women make too much money.
Yep.
Boom, done. End of story.
So you think so you're saying
This is they're getting what they've asked for.
I think
Ha ha ha! Live in that.
Yeah.
I think
By the way, I'm got a young girl at home myself. So boom.
Get rich.
I don't know if I agree with it.
Yeah.
I agree that
No, it changes. It's all about a dynamic. If the girls were making $35,000 a year and that same guy was still making $70,000 a year, she'd be like, there's just eligible men all over the place. But now
But-
she's making the same as the guy and she's like, I don't want him.
but I don't think that's absolute. I think if there was a guy making 50K a year and a woman was making 150, he'd be like, this is great. Like, we're going to have tons of money.
Actually, Pew has done a number of studies on this very thing, and women say that they want to date a man and marry a man that makes more money than them.
But everybody
Period.
wants to marry up in
No,
some fashion.
I don't want to marry up.
Okay,
Why would I want to
define
marry
up.
a woman that makes more money and works harder
It's
than
not-
I do and spends more time out
I
of
didn't
the
say
house?
that. I didn't say that.
Well,
I said marry up.
How are we calculating up?
Do you want to marry like a
point.
woman who sleeps in the gutter?
So it doesn't have to be money.
It's like
if she had a heart of gold and was willing to take care of my house and was kind of hot and good with kids, I don't care what she does as long as she's going to stop doing that and she's going to start taking care of the family.
Wow.
True story.
May I
True
interject?
story.
This is a
Yes,
societal
please.
difference. Yes.
No, actually, this is evolution. This is me as a man speaking to women as women. This is not crazy things. Go ahead.
I think that Jack is correct. I believe that this
The
is what is
lady
known
says.
as
I
hyper.
just spent 2 hours on Benjamin Boyce's channel ranting about this stuff in my most lucid state, as a matter of fact. Please check it out. I was on a roll talking about this. This is the chickens coming home to roost. In 148 out of 150 of the top metropolitan areas in America, entry-level women make more money than their entry-level counterpart males. And they're unhappy about it.
Yep.
They've all been herded into college, saddled with debt. They get good jobs. They look around. The men are just the same as them. There's nothing exciting about that. There's no hopeful future in that. There's no this guy's going to build, create, protect, and provide for me. I can already build, create, protect, and provide for myself. Mr. Woman. And that's why, Tim, I think you're off on this. I think that the
Second
natural
prime
age
cast a great
difference
shadow over our
builds
city.
in
With its destruction,
this
the fall and
dynamic
death will grow weak.
where a man and a woman could be
But we
just as
must be
smart,
vigilant.
just as
fallen
interested
are
in the
crafty.
world, just as capable,
They'll find
but
ways
by
to survive.
virtue of the age
always
difference,
do.
the man is more established, the woman is less established. You have that status difference. The man can provide and protect, the woman can nurture and love and caretake, and people are happier that way. I strongly recommend men don't get married until you're 35, until your career is established, you got your money, and then definitely look for a woman who's about 10 years younger than you. That is 100% my advice.
What was the Pew research you're talking about? Because I'm trying to find it.
Pew Research, consistent studies that show women prefer to marry a man that makes either as much money as them or more, never less.
I cannot.
I will find it. I will find it for you.
I can find, though, this study from 2017. Americans see men as the financial providers, even as women's contributions grow. Even as women are starting to make more and more salaries, men are still viewed as the breadwinners.
Yeah, as they should be. That's the way we're designed. That's why we have testosterone. That's why we have big muscles. That's why we can smash things. That's why women are soft and sweet and they like to cuddle things and they feed them from their breasts because they literally give other humans life. That's how we're designed. It's what our hormones do.
This is crazy.
Can't believe we're getting into this on this show.
Jack Murphy, what are you doing? We're going to get in so much trouble.
Let's do it.
From Market Watch, May 27, 2019, this one thing in your marriage increases the risk of divorce by 33%.
Oh, what is it?
Women making more money than men?
Do tell
That's the image. The financial gender balance within marriage seems to be changing at a faster pace. They say, it could be a race to the finish in more ways than one. When wives earn more than their husbands, some men just can't handle it.
That's what's up.
Neither can the women.
Nobody can. Nobody likes
Only
it.
Jessica Valenti out there gets off on making more money than her husband. Only Jessica Valenti gets off on there thinking that her husband is at home. He's so sexy. He's so powerful and masculine. He cut the crust off the kids' sandwiches, and he wears his slippers and his health robe all day. Only Jessica Valenti thinks like that.
I've seen.
And if they don't, I'm sorry. And if the women give lip service to this notion, they're lying.
Well, I wonder if it's about money or status.
Because I know.
Because I don't know if it's about money. Like,
no, it's about status and power.
Status and power. Because if a guy becomes the president, he doesn't make a lot of money, but he's super powerful.
He will have.
And women love that.
It's about power and status. And there's no faulting women for this. Women historically do not have physical power.
Right.
The way that women have physical power is by proxy.
We are the neck that turns
By
the head.
making men do things for them using cunning, guile, beauty, caretaking, nurturing, and delivering children. Men are proxy power for women. This is the way you survive in the caves, in the wilderness. They can't go around beating up the bears, and they can't go around beating up the hostile groups that are going to take us over. So you got to get a man to do it for you. How do you get a man to do it for you? You look cute, you look pretty, you take care of shit.
Here's what they say. They say the risk of divorce is nearly 33% higher when a husband isn't working full-time, according to Money, Work, and Marital Stability, assessing change in the gender determinants of divorce, a 2016 study of more than 6,300 couples by Alexandra Kilowald, professor of sociology at Harvard University. Quote, for marriages formed after 1975, husbands' lack of full-time employment is associated with higher risk of divorce. Expectations of wives' homemaking may have eroded, but the husband breadwinner norm persists. The apparent disconnect may be due to peer pressure or attitudes passed down from parents. Another theory,
through evolution.
A persistent glass ceiling for women at work may encourage men to believe they should also be the highest earners at home.
Persistent glass
One thing they
ceiling.
never talk about, though, is there's always an excuse, but it's always the man's fault.
Of
Like,
course it is,
some
because
men
everything
can't
is the
take it.
man's fault, period.
This sounds like it's like a lack of purpose issue. If someone doesn't have a full-time job, maybe they're missing purpose in their life and they become much less attractive.
That is a separate issue, but
That's a
yes,
good
you're
point,
exactly
yeah.
right. People don't have a mission or a purpose or an expression of values that's unrelated to their source of income. And people have terrible, horrible lives when their values and their mission and their purpose aren't aligned with the things that they have to do to earn money.
I would even like to see independently wealthy people that inherit a bunch of money that don't have jobs and see their rates of success in marriage, because I think that would be low also. If you don't have something that you love outside
Yeah, but
of
those
yourself.
those two things aren't necessarily the case. You can be born with a lot of money and have passions, building no meat or
But my point is,
vaccines or whatever.
it's not that women or men seek money in their partner. It's that they seek drive, ambition, status, and power, or potential for it.
What they seek is differential power. That's what both parties seek.
What do you mean by that?
Because you can be a broke ass dude and find a woman that looks up to you because she's broker. Right? This is
relative power?
Yes, it's about relative power. It's about relative power and relative status. A woman that doesn't have a job, doesn't have a career, doesn't have any education, latches on to a guy that's got a minimum wage job and has a room in a house somewhere. Well, she's moving up in the world. Right? It's all about relative power. And that's why more women graduate high school, more women apply to go to college, more women graduate college, more women get hired out of school for jobs. Women make more money than men coming out of school.
Yep.
Women live longer, are healthier, have less alcoholism, drug use, suicide, and at the end of the day, they control more wealth when they die. Okay? And all these things are pushing, and they're happening, and at the same time, women's satisfaction in life has gone down. Marriage rates have gone down. Divorce rates are going down, but less so than with the marriage rate. So more people are getting divorced. Fertility is down. Childbirth is down. Happiness is down. Why? It's not because we live in a world that's like horrible, terrible place. We live in a world of abundance. We have everything that we want. This is the greatest time to be alive. Finish this thought. It's the greatest time to be alive.
Correct.
But these women are miserable because they make more money, they're more educated, they have more power than they really want, and the pool of men available to them diminishes with each step that they take up the ladder. It is a self-defeating cycle that we can all observe on the outside. And man, I'm so glad we're talking about this. Bro, I've been writing about this stuff 10 years.
I'll make it simple. It doesn't matter if it's the men's fault. They want to write these studies, and they say men can't handle that women make more money than them. It's like, okay. Well, that just means that women still can't date the men. You can blame the men for it, but if a woman wants to date a man, and she wants to find a good man, and men don't like this because you think they can't handle it, well, then make a choice.
Get better.
Do you want to date them, or do you want to adhere to what the man wants? So it's like when you're in a relationship, you don't just dictate the relationship. You don't say, you are dating me now. That's it. No, every relationship is, are we providing something to each other in some capacity that makes us feel fulfilled, the relationship will work. If this story from the New York Post says that, these women can't find men who make as much money as them, and then this other study says men can't handle it, well, then it sounds like...
It sounds like both parties are dissatisfied, bro.
By all means, say the men are losers who can't handle it. Okay, that still means the woman doesn't get a date.
Yeah.
So there we go. It's an impasse.
Right. Well, the system is flawed. We've just continued. We've just decided to and this is feminism. This is critical race theory. This is SJW. This is the whole thing about the radical left. We have obliterated the differences between men and women in our minds and in our discourse. But you can't erase the biological evolutionary differences that are built into us over millions of years.
But the social influences as well.
That's big time, because when you remove the incentive to do better to people, then they strive less to do better. I've done my best work for the most part when I didn't have enough and I needed to get more. I was seeking that power. Once I get the power, I find that there's this tendency to sit on my laurels, to rest back and be like, now I have it.
You got to work on that, bro.
Right. So I have to create like this outside, invisible enemy that I need to overcome, basically. I love Peterson's work. He talks a lot about this stuff. I keep thinking about him when we're talking about this. This whole social structure where you have enough, you have everything, government's going to take care of you. I think it's killing incentive for people to do better.
I also think that you insult and demean the maturity and capabilities of 24 or 5-year-olds. Yeah, absolutely. There's no reason in the world a mature, established 35-year-old man cannot have a healthy, productive, fruitful relationship with a woman 10 years younger than him.
I didn't say that. I just think...
You just said they were immature and they shouldn't be matched up.
22.
Okay, 22, 23, 24.
Look,
women mature way more.
Who go to college.
Women mature way more quickly than men, dude. More quickly.
It's preference.
At age 15, they're basically women already. Right? And it's like men hit their prime in their 30s.
35.
Why wouldn't a man in his prime latch on to a woman in her prime? Why not? That seems the most logical thing possible.
That's what's happened for millennia.
Millennia.
Older men would marry like 15-year-olds.
And the societal shame around dating a younger woman is just jealousy. It's jealousy. Because, as you said, every man in the world wants to date a 22-year-old woman.
According to OkCupid data.
According to OkCupid,
I don't know.
your own two eyes, all of history, every piece of
But I'm
literature,
citing
every
this on
book you ever
purpose
saw.
because it's not your opinion. OkCupid actually tracked
No, I know.
all the messages.
Yeah.
And they found no matter how old the guy was, from even younger guys,
Why do you think that is?
always messaging 22-year-olds.
Why do you think that is?
For, I think, evolution, like biological reasons.
Right, exactly right.
And what OkCupid found was that, very disgustingly in my opinion, men are actually attracted to women much, much, much younger than that, but would not want to have a family with someone younger than that. So men choose 22 as the equilibrium between mental and physical maturity.
Why is that disgusting? There's nothing
Little kids.
wrong. Well, little kids, of course. Dude.
Well,
But
that's
there's-
hyperbolic on my part.
Right,
Like,
but there's literally
teenagers.
nothing wrong with seeing a woman of fertile age and thinking she is an attractive sexual partner. But like acting on that with an 18-year-old woman is a completely different story. But there's nothing wrong with seeing an 18-year-old woman, and being like, "Oh, she's attractive." Of course she is. She's in the
I'm
prime
not
of her
talking
beauty.
about 18. OkCupid data said men want women younger than that.
Okay, well,
And that I find creepy.
yeah, it is.
Society has rules. Like,
It is creepy today, but guess what? It wasn't creepy until just recently.
I don't know.
All of humanity, all of history, all of time.
I still think it was creepy.
Yeah.
I think a lot of past cultures did a lot of really creepy, gross stuff.
Yeah, well, of course, of course, and of course, I'm not advocating for guys in their 30s
Like
dating
ritual sacrifice,
anyone under 22. But I think it's perfectly reasonable to have a relationship with a woman who's in her early 20s if you're in your 30s.
Well, let's-
absolutely reasonable.
Let's go to Super Chats.
Yes.
And
Here we go.
We're gonna have we'll do a bonus segment. Yeah, you're on for that, right?
Yeah, man, I'm on for it.
It won't be too long though. But
I'm up for it. I got to go. Plus, I got a guy home. I got a 14-year-old woman, a woman 14 years younger than me at home waiting for me.
There you
So
go.
I-
That's the way to watch it.
Smash the like button, my friends, and check out timcast.com because I think it's going to get spicy. Jack's going to go off on this huge rant about manliness and stuff, so
Yes.
we'll carry that conversation over. But subscribe, hit the notification bell, share this podcast if you really do like it because that's what helps podcasts grow. I keep hearing it from all these big wigs. They're like, well, if you want to make your podcast big, people who listen to podcasts are the ones who tell people to listen to podcasts. That's what you have to do. And I'm like, okay, all right, I guess that's the secret. So if you want to help out, let's see what we got here.
Still trying to save the
LMV188 says, love the show. Do you think the Dems will evoke the 25th on Biden? Or is it more likely he will die in office?
More likely they evoke the 25th.
You think
I
so?
don't know if that they will, but I think it's more likely.
things gone
than dying.
wackadoo.
Yeah, maybe.
No, he's. He,
25th.
I think life expectancies tell us that Biden's going to die pretty soon.
Although, if you
Well,
I
life
keep thinking
expectancy
about
is 2 years past it.
the study of
That's what I'm saying.
all
He should
this,
be dead already.
all this life extension technology out of Harvard that they're working on, nicotinamide mononucleotide, resveratrol,
Yep.
berberine, things like that.
Yeah, Aubrey de Grey, he said this like a decade ago, that 10 years ago he said someone who's 45 today will live to be 1,000.
And it was tying into what we were just talking about, you, Jack.
I'm gonna be
specifically.
1,000.
No, how old were you 10 years ago?
Oh, 35. So I'm even better. I'm golden.
And what he said was he's like one of the most prominent senescence researchers. He said it's not because we're going to invent immortality. It's because the things that kill people are being cured. People don't die of old age. They die of renal failure or heart failure or something like that. But as people are aging right now, medical technology is advancing faster than people are dying. So that's what he said 10 years ago. We'll see if he's proven
It's tying
right.
into the conversation we were just having about age, like dating people and fertility rates, because I think women will stay fertile much longer in this society, and that 60, 70, 80-year-old women will be able to have babies.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, it looks like it. That's what the data is tending to.
Oh wow! All right, we got to go here. Josh says, "Love the show, Tim. Been listening to you for about a year. Are you still interested? Are you still taking guest recommendations? No, we never take recommendations, mind you. Would love to see Nicole Arbor on your show. Smart lady and kick-ass comedy. Bless. That's actually going to be happening
Yes, it is.
at some point. So I think she's great. I think she's hilarious.
She's great.
Yeah.
Let me know if you need a sit-in on that.
Quetra is having issues logging in. If you're having issues, just email members@timcast.com.
Yes.
And we will help you get into the site. And for any other email, there's info@timcast.com. So, yes. Brendan says, get Tom McDonald on the podcast. My friends, there are like 50 people that we reached out to that are like, yes, we want to come on the show. And they're in Canada. You can't do it.
Or they're concerned about the COVID.
Justin, well, I mean, that's mostly lefties. But Justin Trudeau in Canada, he's like, he's sitting there at the border, just like, looking around, waiting for any of these people to try and cross over to the States, and then he runs over and he grabs them, and then they lock him in a COVID hotel.
He wants to come on the show too. We've been trying to get him on the show.
Trudeau?
I would love that Trudeau on the show.
I mean, yeah, but that's never gonna happen.
I want to see his socks.
Trudeau, let's have some legitimate questions thrown at you in a 2-hour sit down where you can't leave.
Like,
Yeah,
why?
right.
Talk
It would
about
be like,
COVID, man.
for the first time in the guy's life, he'd have to tell the truth.
That'd be awesome.
That's not gonna
You'd
happen.
never do that.
People don't want to sit in the hot seat.
He's an entertainer. He might.
Oh, that's interesting. Beautiful Bliss says, what's the counter argument for Democrats for declining birth rates? I wonder. Hi, Lydia. I don't know.
I'll say it's a good thing.
All right, let's jump down. What is this? Rantomatic says, Trump to Biden voters. Are you sorry yet? Oof. Del Men says, hello, Beanie Compound. Great news. Minnesota government has rescinded their decision to spend taxpayer money on influencers for the Derek Chauvin trial. What?
How nice of them.
Because Minnesota doesn't trust the government to do the right thing. What does that mean, influencers?
Yeah, they were going to pay influencers to, like, influence people about the Chauvin trial.
Whoa.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't know that. Yeah, that's creepy. What?
I'm shocked you did not see that.
Northern Blue Collar says, hello from Maine. Keep up the great reporting. I love listening to y'all while I work. And we love getting your money in super chats. Makes it all worth it.
Thanks, man.
We got a new show coming.
I heard.
Cults, crime, mystery, paranormal.
I heard.
It's going to be more like a legit show. Like, we'll do like 13 episodes. We'll record them on the weekends, and then we'll just like release them out. So it'll be not the same as like a topical news show. It's gonna be, like,
Evergreen.
evergreen entertainment with
Yeah.
guests from cults and like.
Alien civilizations redux.
Yeah, I'm hoping we can get like a legit murderer, like from prison. No joke. Like, yeah,
That'd be
man.
awesome.
I will not be doing
Not
that.
in the. Well, they're gonna be in prison, and so we'll record a conversation, and we'll do.
You're gonna send Cassie.
I don't know. It's up to her. But the paranormal stuff, I'm really excited for because I want to do this for a while.
Yeah, dude.
I want to get like a legit researcher who's like, I work at this university. We track this stuff. Here's what we think, and then it's gonna be great. We're gonna do sound effects and creepy
Dude, the
stuff.
cult stuff is fascinating. Just the mind of a cult member or reformed cult member. I love that stuff, especially with the age of cult
there's
personality.
There's also some people who deny they're in a cult. There's like reports of like, here's a cult, and the people are like, it's not a cult. And so I'm really interested in having those conversations.
I mean, who gets to decide if it's a cult or not?
I don't know the size of the cult.
I don't know, man.
the
I mean,
guys
I've
sleeping
been
with
watching.
their wives.
Okay, so I watched the Nexum series, and I watched Wild Wild Country.
What's
Right.
Wild Wild Country about?
Oh, that's about that Indian guy and his right-hand woman who took over a town in Oregon or Washington.
Oh,
or
that's
something
right.
like
That's
that.
right. That's right.
Yeah, and it's like, what's a cult? Could they leave? The Nexium people couldn't.
They couldn't leave.
No, they couldn't leave because they gave up collateral on themselves, like
Oh.
pictures of them cheating on their husbands or whatever. Plus, they got branded
Yeah.
and all these things. And then when they tried to leave, they wouldn't let them. But the Wild Wild Country people, they said it was a cult, but like no one was forcing them. To do
But
it.
did you see what Nikki Klein said?
I don't know who that is.
She was one of the members of the DOS. They call it the DOS.
Oh,
cult.
yeah.
She's denied all of that. She said it's not true. She said the media was lying about everything.
I
It was
would-
sensational headlines.
I
where,
wouldn't be surprised.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I watched the Nexium thing, and it was about 3 episodes.
I'm not saying she's right.
I was
but
about
the
three
media lies.
3 episodes in, and I was like, I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anything wrong here.
With Nexium?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I thought
the
that was
first,
like
the
a
first
sex cult.
Well, that's how it was portrayed.
Well, so I'm saying the media has reported it as a cult. Nikki Klein, who I actually have met because I think I met her. I'm not sure where I met some people from Nixon at CPAC, and then I think they introduced me to Nikki Klein. And this was back when I was doing a really old podcast, and we were going to do a podcast. We ended up not actually using it because that's when the news was breaking about the cult and all that stuff. So I wonder if we still have some of that stuff. But I'd be interested in talking to her. Like, you say it's not a cult. So here's all the stuff saying it was. And don't you think people who are in cults would deny being in a cult?
I mean, what is a cult, though? A cult is somebody looking in from the outside and not being able to understand the motivations of the people staying on the inside. People call things a cult because they don't
You can
understand.
say Christianity's a cult.
People have said it.
That's why I said the size. Well, let's read some more super chats, though. Northern Blue Collar says, I love the debates you and Ian have.
Me too.
And then Brian says, free the code is the stupidest thing ever, and only a vile socialist who doesn't code would say something like that. Something that ignorant, code is work.
I would say, to explain a little bit of that, I don't want to free all the software code in the world. I think it would be bad. But when a social network, which is a unique business that we're now dealing with in life, reaches 100 million users a month or something, that it becomes part of the commons, and then I believe we have the right as sovereign citizens to take control of that commons and protect the commons, and do that by freeing that software code.
All right, I got to read this one. Bobby Bob says, I want Jack to hold me lovingly, rub his beard on my face, and gently whisper freedom in my ear. Pasta must be involved. His choice.
Challenge.
And freedom in Fusilli.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, the Civic Nationalist says, the Pilgrims fled because Great Britain wasn't religious enough. The U.S. was made by terrorists, and you still paid for the goods destroyed. The U.S. is a failed state. There were more loyalists in the colonies. Stop talking about this. You are not able to. God save the Queen. It's actually, so it's not true that there were more loyalists. That's just British propaganda from British nationalists. But it is true
Cultists.
that it was only a plurality that wanted independence.
Yeah, it's true.
So there was a vote. Like the sentiment among the colony was like, 38% says independence, and then 28% said loyalty, and the rest said shut up and leave me alone. And it was the shut up and leave me alone people that basically, and if any one of them were just like, okay, we'll stay with Great Britain, then we would not have had independence. It wouldn't happen. But they essentially abstained. So
Crazy servitor's nest.
all right, let's
Would
see.
we
where-
have the Federal Reserve if we would have stayed with Great Britain?
Yeah. But it would have been called the Bank of England.
All right, let's see. Snap Crackle Pop says, Tim, remember, the reason the dollar menu is now called the value menu is because of inflation and Democrat politics. Sparky the Pyro says, boy, am I glad I know how to grow food and hunt with these food prices. Need me some chickens and a couple of goats. Well, we were considering goats, but they scream. They just yell. And so nobody wants to wake up to screaming goats. We're going to get chickens. I want to get roosters. Roosters scream
They're
too
allowed
much.
too.
Like, you know what I realized?
What are you gonna do with the rooster, bro?
The roosters protect the chickens. You let them walk around.
You gotta have a chicken coop around here.
I bought a big, massive chicken coop.
You got predators, bro. What are you gonna do with a rooster? You
What do you
need
mean?
hens and broilers.
I have. So we bought a bunch of chicken coops.
Yeah.
We're gonna get a bunch of chickens. And I was considering getting a bunch of roosters. A bunch meaning like a couple, because you need a lot of chickens. The problem is they scream, and we record in a studio here.
Oh, true. Well, you know what?
So in the morning, it'd be like,
midway through every single one of my podcasts, which I do at 12 o'clock. I'm doing one tomorrow on Thursday. The mailman comes, and Rosie, my dog, barks. So around 1:15 in every podcast, Rosie
Hear the
barks.
dog barking.
Rosie barks, and everybody laughs, and then we just move on. It's just part of the show, man.
yeah, but roosters yell randomly.
Yeah, they do.
And you're saying
But-
we don't need them?
Well, if we take care of the chickens, if we want babies, I guess. But
yeah, you can hatch, yeah.
There's there's one place I go to where they have three. They're big roosters, and they keep predators away.
Yeah.
And so I was asking one of the guys there. I was like, the roosters enough? Like, we have dogs too. And I was like, there it is.
Roosters get
So-
mean.
Roosters will run after predators, and they also tell the chickens to go home when it gets dark. So, but we'll probably just set up a big enclosure where it's like we're going to secure it so that predators can't get in or anything. But if we have chickens, we can actually keep it in a secure area. The problem was we have a really great place to put it where it's surrounded on 3 sides, so there's no predator coming in, only from one direction. And then we can actually secure that very well, and then have the coop inside it secured as well. The problem is it's close to the house. So if we get roosters, you're going to hear the roosters everywhere. So it's like, maybe we'll just get chickens.
We can always start with chickens.
I was thinking homesteading, man. You have got eggs, goats, and herbs. That's easy, right? So like every morning you can wake up to like a goat cheese omelet with
Yeah.
like herbs and
I
stuff.
used to milk 'em.
That doesn't sound like that's not roughing it by any means. That sounds amazing.
Sounds great.
I could,
All right,
I
we
could
got-
go
we
for
got-
a goat cheese omelet right now.
We got to read some more. So, Image JPEG says the only thing that can stop crypto is if governments go back to sound money. Won't happen. However, in my opinion, BTC is overvalued. Check out Coin Fair Value. Satoshi's white paper was for eCash, not store of value. That's fine, but it doesn't matter. I hear a lot of people saying this. They're like, oh, the original vision. So they have Bitcoin Cash, where it's like it's faster transactions and it's worth a lot less, but you can trade it really quickly. They all exist. All these little cryptos exist where you can instantly trade value. The Mines token, for instance, has value to some people in the library token or whatever. Bitcoin has become a store of value. That's it. You can not like it, but that's what it's become. I think the problem is maybe Satoshi didn't realize governments were going to be dumping massive amounts of money into this. And that means the demand is massive and the supply is literally diminishing.
It's so funny that the government says no one is allowed to mint a currency but us. What? Couldn't stop it, so they're just letting it happen. You can't stop
Letting
it.
it happen. Why aren't they the ones buying everything?
And then they're buying it.
Why, maybe M1, all that they're just buying up Bitcoin.
Buying Bitcoin.
So maybe the whole you can't print your own money supply thing should be tossed out the window. I mean, it's being ignored. So let's just say you can print your own money supply and change the Constitution and let people make their own cryptos.
Right, we gotta read some more. We got a good one here. Joey says, I remember when the Whopper was $1. How much is it nowadays?
God,
$3?
it was like $6.
It was
That's a guess.
14, maybe 16 years ago. There was a Burger King in my neighborhood, and their sign was hard printed.
Yeah.
99-cent Whopper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard. Like
do
it
remember
wasn't
that.
something they changed. It was
That is
permanently
hard.
there. And then I remember when they finally broke it.
$4.
Yeah, because it
$4.
was not a banner. It was like the sign itself said Burger King, and then under it said the 99-cent Whopper. And then eventually, when they're like, "That's too expensive," they broke the sign. I lived in the South Side, man. It wasn't like a good place. They were just like, "Get the hammer!"
Wow.
Or someone broke it. I don't know. Maybe someone shot it.
Last time I bought a Whopper was $2.29 maybe.
They cost $4.19 now.
Yuck.
Wow.
$4.19. Matthew Stockhausen says technically any state can leave the union if they want to fight the USA for freedom. That's a good point.
Yeah, read
What?
Texas. I don't think it's a good idea. Whenever they talk about secession, like you'll have the blockade in the Gulf of Mexico, all that oil. The Fed's not going to give up that oil. You know, the federal government, I should say.
Do you think there's the stomach by the other 49 states in the union to actually say, "Oh, Texas seceded. Other 49 states are going to be like, invade them."
Nope.
No.
That era has
doubt
changed, man. Look at Scotland voting for independence. Like, Scotland was essentially conquered, wasn't it? Well, I don't know anything about Great Britain. I'm going to trigger all the British people. They're going to be like, no, you know nothing. And it's like, okay, fine, whatever. But we're at a point now where it's like, I guess Catalonia, they keep trying to leave Spain. And then the federal police come in and just start beating people mercilessly. So there
Yeah.
you go.
I don't think people in
arrest
the U.S.
people?
would go for that.
Yeah, I know. It's like the federal cops are not the state, or the people, are not the people. There's like that's why we're talking about like the NSA and the Homeland Security
let's
and the FBI. Like that's a
keep-
lot of
let's-
militant force that the federal government has.
We'll keep going through these super chats. C. Hennessy says, best analogy for America is a skyscraper, and each floor is a year of America. The founding fathers laid the foundation, and now the people on the 244th floor wants to take out the foundation that the whole 244th floor sits on.
Indeed.
Interesting. Katie says, have to sit with an assignment for 6 hours, forced to write about Black Lives Matter and white supremacy. I have to pass it to graduate this summer. So I would like to know if I only pass if I go full leftist. Sounds like it.
Wow,
I would-
have a
Look,
lot of
it's a
sympathy for you.
time. It's a time-honored tradition to write whatever it is that you think your professors want you to write in order to get an A and not believe a single word of it. So just do what everybody's always done in college.
Or
Here-
you could write what you truly believe and frame it and throw the finger up.
Here's a good super chat from Welder. He says, Tim, no income tax, no progressive tax, only a sales tax. The more you buy, the more you pay. The rich that buy more will pay more, and the poor can save. That's an interesting idea. I've heard that before. Maybe you just do a really high sales tax, like relative to where it is now, like increase it so that it offsets everything, and then whoever consumes the most. That would actually be a good green solution, right, to all of these lefties who want, to fight climate change and stuff. Because then you're basically saying, by all means, buy whatever you want, but there's a lot of taxes attached to those purchases.
Value-add taxes are regressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're regressive. If it's in some places they have a 19% VAT. It means you go if you spend $1, it's 19 cents. It's a lot.
But if there's no income tax.
No, I understand, but when VAT is just, I'm pretty sure VAT is just known to be regressive because it does not increase percentage-wise for rich people, right? The poor people are
Right.
paying the same taxes, so it's regressive.
But if rich people are buying tons of stuff like crazy,
Yeah.
then they end up spending way more in taxes.
Yeah, I mean, sitting in Luke's seat right now, I can think to myself, hey, I prefer when the government doesn't tax anything for anybody.
The value-added tax is interesting. That's what Andrew Yang wanted to use to pay for basic income. And a friend of mine, Aaron, was explaining that the supply chain would be taxed at every point. So the people that grow the rice sell it to the manufacturers. There's a tax on it. And then that's the value. That's a value-added tax on that. Then the manufacturer sells it to the store. There's a value-added tax on that. The store brings it to the person. There's a value-added tax put on that. And then what it would do is cause a markup in the price of the product to cover
All the
tax,
embedded taxes
loss-
along the chain. Yeah.
Right.
All right. This one's for you, Jack. Benjamin Haver says, I am 38 and have no family, both of my own and older than me. It's been a hard road. Also, I'm a huge fan of y'all's work. Much respect. No family.
Yes.
Just super chat.
Thank you. Thanks for watching the show. Appreciate it.
William Kelly says, hey, Tim, how dare you for being exactly 10 days older than me and share my twin's name? Then again, my twin is my political polar opposite. Oh, really? Like you have a twin, and then one's left wing and one's right wing or something?
Interesting.
It's a confluence of worlds
and
right there.
My birthday is March 9th. It is coming up very soon.
Happy birthday, man.
About 6 days. And I will be 35 years old.
Big year.
Ryan Law says, wondering if you guys heard about how the National Guard troops at the Capitol are being treated. They're getting sick from raw and molded food. I DM'd the story to your Instagram, Tim. I did, and metal shavings.
Yeah.
Metal shavings.
I saw that. Is that that's legit?
It's probably from the cans when they're like making potatoes
okay.
and they're scraping it and the bits.
no.
Yep. And now when I heard about the raw beef, I was kind of like, is that so bad? Now, I like my steaks rare. I guess if you're getting garbage freezer food, though, and you don't know where it's been, you probably want it to be cooked.
It's probably not steak tartare.
The raw chicken, though.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's like, dude, they're
Oh.
mistreating these guys. It is such...
They feed them raw chicken.
That's why I'm saying it feels like everything's falling apart. When our National Guard is supposed to be defending the Capitol and we can't even feed them
Yeah,
properly?
you got to defend the National Guard before you use them to defend the Capitol.
You ever think about how these massive armies, like the Crusades, they have food, man.
Armies march on their bellies.
Yup.
Yeah, they have like huge
So they-
baggage trains
Yup.
with their
carrying
families
all the
and
food. So now you have one of the wealthiest countries, if not the wealthiest country on the planet right now, can't get food to our own National Guard
in the Capitol.
No, it's not
in
that
the
they-
Capitol.
It's not that they
Jeez.
can't. It's that they won't.
That's decay still. Decay's
But
decay.
all right. But there's a big difference between somehow we just can't, and we have all the resources in the world. Money printer go burr. We can't. We won't.
Why do you think? What do you mean they won't? Like, what are they not doing?
What is a limiting factor from them buying high quality food? Choice.
know.
Choice. It's a choice.
Yeah. Same with hospitals. I feel like hospitals should have healthy food.
Institutionalized food delivery is tough.
But schools, hospitals, and the military are suffering from lack of nutrition. That's a big problem. And it's another part of why government is kind of an issue.
I'm just saying, if we can't
Tell me
feed
more
our
about
own,
that.
It's a bit of an issue. I could go into it.
all right, we got to read this one. Mesa's one. I don't know why people are so mad at Cuomo for the nursing home stuff. He was just trying out a bold new strategy to solving the looming social society crisis. Yeah, too many old people.
Then we won't have to bring in more immigrants, and we can solve the fertility issue, the entitlement issue, the great pyramid scheme that is America, by the way.
Yeah.
We can solve that problem just by killing all the old people. This is a joke, obviously.
That's cool.
YouTube overlords.
This is important.
Oh, what?
Alex Ryan says, Tim, get a donkey. A donkey will act as a guard for your chickens. They're brutal to predators. It's an awesome sight to watch a donkey stomp a coyote. I've heard that. Wow. They'll
That'd be
just
so
like,
fun.
just like, get away from the
Get a
chickens. The
donkey.
chickens are my friends. Donkeys. I hear donkeys are awesome.
They're great. Way better than horses.
What are they, gray? Is that the Norse name?
Yeah.
Eeyaw.
Yep. That's
Goatman Jack says, don't you judge my people's music. Yeah, so
Beautiful.
when I lived in Miami with Adam, the neighbors had a goat, and just the goat would yell all the time. So it's not enjoyable when you're trying to sleep, and it's like 7 a.m. and you're out.
Bleat on.
Yeah.
Bleat on.
Bleed on, bleeder.
Catoriously Wise says, Tim, I've been in the beanie cult for about 9 months now, but I never got my new follower beanie. Who do I contact? We don't have beanies, do we? We actually reached out to a bunch of companies to make these kinds of beanies, and it's hard because it's dual colors, so you need like a good factory, but everything was shut down for COVID.
Hey, as an aside, I wore the I'm a Gorilla T-shirt yesterday, and it is really comfortable.
It's comfortable,
Good
right?
shirts, huh?
Yeah.
That's
I was wearing
great.
it earlier
Surprised
today.
Teespring doesn't do beanies. Maybe we should.
Should.
Maybe they could.
They do, but they're always these just like
Oh, you know
acrylic
what?
embroidered, not.
All we have liminal order beanies as well. Through
But aren't they
Printful.
acrylic?
No, they're really nice. Through
They're not
Printful,
acrylic.
through Printful and Shopify, totally sold out. Totally sold out. Can't
Oh,
get any more.
wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, there you go. Jay Rich says one of the biggest contributors to the declining birth rate is third wave feminism and the rise of gynocentric society centered around B-rating masculinity and browbeating men for being men. Make females women again.
So third wave feminism. This is the distortion of feminism over the last 20 or 30 years.
Yeah, it's the step beyond, like, maybe they should vote.
Yeah,
Maybe we're all equal.
Yeah. It's the step beyond that. It's the step beyond that.
it is. It really is.
Mark Roberts says, Tim, I truly appreciate your cast and everyone's viewpoint. Thanks so much for your work. Best to everyone. Hey, appreciate it. That was a great one.
Dude, thank you.
Christopher Blummer says, for Jack Murphy,
Yes, sir.
do you think Keanu Reeves is a MGTOW? MGTOW, for those, it means men going their own way.
I couldn't tell you. I have no idea. Is he single?
Have you seen?
I thought he was
Yes.
married to
No.
some older lady.
Yeah.
No, he's single.
I thought he was married to
He
like a
wasn't he dating
55-year-old woman?
Yeah, he was.
Oh, was he?
Silver hair.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, really, really.
And all the
seemed older.
photos of him with women, his hands, he's doing hover hands.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he's legit.
That one, I think was not. I think that was legit. Like the Me Too thing was at its peak, and then all these photos started emerging of Keanu Reeves, and his hands were never on women. And I'm like, dude, he's playing it safe.
I'm pretty sure he's dating an older woman who doesn't dye her hair, and there was like a whole thing about it. I remember even tweeting about it. Now that I think about it, I have no idea if he's a MGTOW. I don't recommend that. By the way, don't go your own way, man. Become a better man.
All right.
Find a woman. Have a family. Be a rebel.
AI, or Al, whichever one, says, Tim, you seriously need to do a discussion on the mouse utopia experiment. It nearly perfectly mirrors the modern day problems. Also, promiscuity is killing the long-term dating world. Look up retroactive jealousy. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I think I've heard about that. The mouse utopia experiment, I think I've read about that. Was that where, like, they gave the mice everything they could ever want, and then they ended up just getting, like, fat, lazy, and then not reproducing, and then just slowly dying off?
Oh.
Yeah, something like that.
Look, the fertility issue is something that we should have actually a deeper discussion on, because it's not just the United States.
It's Europe as well.
It's everywhere with advanced technology. I think that this is the precursor to some transhumanist kind of thing happening, and that society, like as an entity as a whole, we might have some expectation of a huge change.
Genderless evolution,
No,
babies
don't
born in
say
test
that. I hate
tubes.
that.
That's the
Kathy's smacking you down. Smackdown from Kathy.
Oh
Ready
yeah,
for this?
Kathy, what's up?
Kathy Mack says, what is wrong with you people? What a sad generation. You pick a spouse by finding someone that enjoys the same things. I made twice as much as my husband, but it was all our money. Also, we have been married 41 years.
Good for you.
Yeah, I like that.
Good for you. Congratulations.
I agree with that, man. I don't think that, personally, I might be different than most, but I don't think the money. I guess I understand what you're saying about power and drive, because I am attracted to women that are driven to create
Yeah,
and
it's
do
important.
something.
Yeah.
Look, getting married because you like the person, this is a new thing. This is a new thing.
This has never been.
Romantic love is a new thing. It's a modern creation.
It is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it used to be like arranged marriages and dowries and all that stuff, and it was like the dad would basically sell off the daughter in a manner of speaking. I have the dowry, and then there would be a good man, and then the dad would be like, I approve of this man.
The opposite is that.
Yeah.
Right. The dad's giving the dowry.
Oh, right.
Yeah. It's,
Right.
it's
So,
weird,
so
actually.
like
when
the
you think about
eligible
it.
men were
Yeah. They receive, you get a woman and a bunch of money.
Yeah, right.
Pretty
That's
good deal.
amazing.
That's called the patriarchy.
Yeah, there you go.
patriarchy.
Yeah, worked great.
I called.
and a stack of cash.
So I had a friend, and I jokingly called her a spinster, and she got really offended. And I was like, why are you offended by that? And she was like, don't call me a spinster. And I was like, I thought that was like a funny thing nowadays. It's like, it used to be an insult back then. You know what I mean?
What is it? Someone that spins hay?
So it was
Or what is
typically the women who were spinning. Was it cotton?
Cotton. That's not
Like
hay.
spinning
It was
thread,
because
yeah.
they weren't working. They were
Yeah.
working women, so they were called spinsters. And then spinster became a term for a woman who wasn't married and didn't have kids.
Oh.
'Cause she's
was
working.
working. Right.
Because she had to spend the rest of her life spinning up yarn.
Jeez, we live in an
Yeah, but
amazing
like
time.
nowadays, it's like tongue in cheek. It was like,
I think spinster insinuates that a woman is barren.
Yeah.
And-
Really?
And a
Yeah.
woman that doesn't have any, the barren
future.
societally like this, with
Why-
no
why-
husband, no family, no anything.
I'm sorry. Why would you be mad at me for that? If you're like a high-powered working woman,
Because it triggers the evolutionary brain that
You don't
can't
wanna
be
be
turned
barren.
off.
it's also how like the left tries calling men incels because they're trying to go after masculinity. It's a weird thing to do because it's like it's just like it's like I don't know. It's antithetical to what they claim to support.
Of course it
Like-
is. It's dude. I just had a huge long thread this weekend on progressive alpha males and how they don't exist by definition.
Right.
We should say that for the
For after,
yeah.
Yes.
We'll go ham on all that stuff.
dude, that was a good one.
actually fun.
Travis Sharon says donkeys scream. I stayed at Lake Pleasant, Arizona last weekend. Loud.
Okay, you convinced me.
Experimental says don't buy a donkey. The donkey will mind control you. Then it will make you join and completely support the Democratic
Oh
establishment.
my gosh, he's right.
Get an elephant
There
instead.
you go. Perfect.
Then a tiger.
Yes.
And we'll call it Never Neverland.
Oh gosh, let's not.
KN Clark says Washington State is sales tax only, no income tax. Bad idea. Poor can't save. They actually pay a higher percent in taxes just buying necessities. That's a good point. That's a good point. Steve Selena says, Tim, my birthday is March 9th, going to be 27. Love your show, bro, and I'm glad I share my B-day with such an awesome guy. Love you guys. You know what's crazy? Is Adam's birthday is right before mine as well.
Yeah.
What is it, March 7th?
Yeah. And then
Crazy, bro.
It's a good year for birthdays.
there's another person who has a birthday 2 days after mine. But I don't know if their birthday is public, so I won't say, but we're going to have a big party. Maybe we'll do a show or something.
Really big party. My invitations got lost in the mail.
Yeah, sure did. I know it.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Here's
Where's
your
the
invitation,
invite?
We
Come on, man.
some alcohol pads.
Inkspot says, get out of the cities. This is all building to the next world war, the new world order, and the culling through war, famine, and unspeakable strife. Well, I don't know about all that, but I do think you will be ever so happy with chickens. Dude,
Could always
I just gotta
do
tell you,
that.
man, I had chickens in Miami. They're hilarious.
They're like dinosaurs.
They're just funny. It's like watching them do their thing. They're just hilarious. They're so dumb.
If you fell in a pit of chickens and passed out, would they eat you?
Yeah,
Probably. Yeah.
They eat. They eat
sure would.
animals like
They
they're
eat lizards.
carnivores.
Yeah, they eat
Like,
mice.
when you ask someone what do chickens eat, what do you think they're gonna tell you?
They eat grubs.
They eat
Yeah.
bugs and they eat
Grass?
They eat grass.
Yep.
Oh
Other
man, they
chickens?
mutilated my lawn.
Yeah, they tear up your lawn.
So you move them around.
Yeah.
Well, you
hardcore.
give them big enough space to where they don't destroy the whole lawn, but they
dig,
were
like,
just
craters.
annihilating it.
Yeah.
But the problem was the rooster we had was really dumb and kind of a loser, and he would run away and not protect the chickens. So we
Rude.
were like, "What do you do?" So we called him Norin
See,
because do you know
Norin the Wary?
Yes.
It's a Magic the Gathering creature.
There's a card in Magic the Gathering called Norin the Wary.
terrible.
And
Cowardly.
no, it's amazing. It's a brilliant card. But he's the character is like mortified and always running away. That's the point. Well,
see, even a male chicken that can't provide or protect is worthless.
Boom.
Good
Done.
point.
Nailed it.
Evolution had spoken. I would have
Right.
chopped his head.
you know what he would do?
Right,
You
yeah.
know what's really funny? He would jump over the fence because he kept. Oh, this is hilarious. We didn't have enough chickens, and we didn't realize this. And he kept banging them like crazy. And then he would jump over the fence. People don't realize how high they can. They can like.
Well, they can basically
They can do
fly.
big jumps. Yeah, they
Yeah.
can almost fly. They can't really fly. They can jump really high and then they like come down. So he jumped over like I think it was like a 6.5, 7 foot fence, and we can't get over it to get him. And he jumps over because he can hear all the hot chicken ladies, you know. So he's
Hot
like,
chickens.
I'm a rooster and I can hear these chickens. And he jumps over. Here's the problem. Those chickens had roosters.
Oh.
And the roosters over there were massive, big old roosters. And they basically said GTFO, but he wasn't smart enough to jump back over. So he would just get stuck in the corner. And then we have to go to the neighbors, and they would come over and pick him up and throw him over. And I'll tell you the funniest thing ever. He got trapped over there for like a day or two. And then the chickens we had were just like doing their chicken business. And so we're trying to figure out like what happened to him. He's gone. And that was like the first time we realized he was jumping the fence. And so we asked the neighbors. The neighbors were like, "Oh, is that your rooster?" We were wondering like where this thing came from. So they don't throw him over the fence. They put him, they grab him over the fence, and then he, as soon as he lands, we're standing there and we watch him just run full speed and then jump on the chicken and start banging the
Oh,
chicken.
no.
And we all just bust out laughing.
What is it like when chickens bang?
They're like birds.
He jumps on their back and then digs his feet and rips their back open.
Do they scream in pain?
No.
That's how cats do it.
Okay, yeah, that's a good
You'll see
chat.
that woman cat just tearing it up, screaming. Have you ever seen that?
All right. Let's
Cats are loud
we'll do one more here. Sam
drag me
Bada says, Tim, get Rollo Tomasi on the show.
He wants to
Jack's
come
just paraphrasing Rollo's book, The Rational Male. Rollo has been the authority on intersexual
Whatever.
dynamics for 20 years now.
Whatever.
So we should have you and
Whatever.
Jack
I've known
steamroll.
Rollo for 10 years. I've known
Oh,
Rollo
interesting.
before he ever wrote a book. I know Rollo before.
So you're saying he should come on with you?
Rollo and his whole crew blocked me a year ago.
That would be a good
Mad
show.
jelly.
Beef.
Mad jelly.
Oh,
So what is-
now, we're gonna
beef?
we're reigniting the beef.
What is
Oh, unnecessary.
what is his premise?
Rollo and I came up in the same place. Rollo, they call him the king of the manosphere, and I'll give him credit. He did write a lot of things down. But man, Rollo and me and a handful of other guys, Mike, who was even in here the other day, we all co-evolved that whole scene. We co-evolved the whole scene.
Cernovich.
I've been
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about this stuff for 10 years. Same as Rolo. That would be really funny. Hey, baby.
We should have that chat. Let's
All
do
right,
it.
ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about the progressive alpha, I suppose, at timcast.com. So that'll be up in about an hour or so. So go to timcast.com, become a member, and we'll have that up soon. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, smash that like button. If you really like this podcast, leave us a good review on iTunes or Spotify. If you haven't, check it out. Because then it boosts you up in the ratings, and then you share it, and then people see it, and then it just does, it's great. It's great. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Timcast. My other YouTube channels are youtube.com/Timcast and youtube.com/TimcastNews. This show is live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. So we'll be back, of course, tomorrow. Jack, you want to shout out some stuff?
Yes, please follow me. Subscribe on my YouTube channel. We're approaching 40,000 subs. It'd be really nice to get there. I got a live interview tomorrow at noon, and then my first ever panel show Friday at 12 with Christopher Rufo,
Nice.
Carolyn B, and Corey DeAngelis is going to be
wow.
Smart
awesome.
peeps.
Cool show.
Gorgeous. And you can follow me at Ian Crossland all over the internet, social-wise, and my website, iancrossland.net. You can pick up some merchandise if you like, including that one guy's favorite, Free the Code mug.
Yeah,
Shout out
you
to the
just
dude
love
on that super chatted out about that. Thanks for letting me specify what I meant by this. And have some fun. And I love you guys very much. This is really cool.
And I am Sarah Patch Lids. I push all the buttons every night at 8 p.m. I am at Real Sarah Patch Lids on Instagram and Gab, and I am Sarah Patch Lids on Twitter and Minds.
The Progressive Alpha coming up over at timcast.com, and we will see you all there.
Bye.